just absolutely stunning. How are you doing, everybody? I gotta center up my two little Stanley McCandless lights here. How you doing? Today is the second day of December 2025. I took off yesterday, really, to do some stuff around the house, and because it was would have been my mother's 85th birthday. Kind of gloomy weather down here in Tampa. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you did. Going to be a short video because I'm still doing research for and posting stuff up on my website for tonight's Conspiracy Realism 101 live stream. We're going to talk about the first part of Ukraine. I've decided to break the Ukraine part into two. So it'll be this week and next week. This week, kind of some history of our nefarious operations, if you would, in Ukraine. I guess not going way back, just Orange Revolution 2004 under Bush, and of course the continuation of that policy under Obama and Biden and Trump, and now where we are today. That'll be where we are today. Will be next week. We can sum it up where we are today with this new quote-unquote peace plan that Trump and Russia and now Ukraine's kind of buying into because Zelensky doesn't have a choice and the European Union don't have a choice. And people are... Ukraine is a great example of how we have a one-party system. And it's also very illuminating because people like myself talking about what happened in 2014, what happened in 2011, and 2013, and then 2014 with Ukraine, which is what was going to be discussed tonight. When we talk about that, on the left usually, because the right doesn't talk about such things, we talk about the fact that some of us, not many of us, we talk about the fact that it was a color revolution carried out by the Obama administration, starting off with Hillary Clinton, of course. Using Nazis as a proxy fucking army, for the most part. Nazis and young people. And a lot of propaganda and a lot of PR and a lot of spin and the National Endowment for Democracy and a lot of money and cookies. But a lot of propaganda. And I'm going to show you where a lot of that propaganda was spent on the alt-left. So the alt-left would get behind Barack Obama's regime change operation. I'm fascinated. People on the alt-left now screeching about Donald Trump in Venezuela. I'm certainly not in favor of regime-changing Venezuela like fucking Nick Fuentes proudly said he was 3 weeks ago. I oppose it. Absolutely. But people will have you believe, and I choose that word on purpose, people will have you believe that what he's doing, what Donald Trump is doing is, and Pete Hegseth is doing is just way out of left field, and we've never seen anything like this before. What he is doing in Venezuela pales in comparison to what Barack Obama did. Pales in comparison. what he's doing in Venezuela. What he's doing in Gaza is the same as what Biden was doing in fucking Gaza. Paying lip service to fucking stopping the genocide, and then behind the scenes, go ahead. Here's some of my military advisors. They'll help you with the hard stuff. This is our policy. It's always been our policy. It doesn't matter who is in the fucking office. They are all the same. The only difference between fucking Harris and fucking Trump was that Harris would have been a slow, incremental drip to get to the same place, and Donald Trump is dropping the fucking economic brick on our fucking heads. And as it turns out, the oligarchs who really run this country wanted to go with the fucking Trump timeline rather than the fucking Harris timeline. And that was it. That's the only fucking difference. It shocks me, when I see people actually hopping up and down and screeching about Donald Trump and Venezuela, and they act as if Barack Obama didn't do 3 times as worse by the time he was into his second fucking administration. I mean, let's just add them up, shall we? Regime change in fucking Libya, killing the fucking leader of Libya. Regime change in Syria started killing all kinds of people in fucking Syria and displacing 2 million fucking Syrians, chasing them off the east of the fucking Euphrates so that they can hand it over to the greater Kurdistan project. So we got Libya, we got Syria, Yemen. Barack Obama, he wasn't in office for a year in December of 2009 when he authorized cruise missile strikes on a certain homes in Yemen that they thought were going to take out fucking the Houthis leadership, but instead it killed 23 children and a couple of women. That's a year. So you've got Libya, you've got Syria, you've got Yemen, and of course you've got Egypt, which was a brutal fucking dictator overthrowing with al-Sisi and locking up 10,000 fucking people in the Muslim Brotherhood and killing 1,000 fucking protesters who wanted their elected fucking leader back. And then, of course, Thailand and fucking Ukraine versus Venezuela. It's not even fucking close. But of course, the anti-war left president can get away with things because people are just like, I can't see anything. I just see what's right in front of me. He's fine. Barack Obama is the change president, I believe. And if this is why it's Conspiracy Realism 101 tonight at 7:00 on my YouTube channel. Come by and check it out. I had 9 people yesterday, last week. It's awesome. I'm going to do 2 weeks of this. But this is why we'll talk about conspiracy theorists and being called a conspiracy theorist for talking about what's actually going on now. But back then, even the left, and this is more fucking hypocrisy. People get mad at me for calling out folks on the left who don't have our best interest at heart. And they're allowed to promote through the fucking YouTube fucking algorithm and be bumped up and put on the front page, and because they're controlled opposition. They're limited hangout. And they know how important it is to get the left on board with certain fucking agenda items. It's like someone said before, and I said the other day in a video, if you're building a fucking house And all of a sudden, someone comes along and goes, hey, you got a problem over here. You got some cracks in the foundation, and it seems like it's kind of, there's some soil and stuff already missing from under the thing. You don't go, how dare you fucking badmouth the house? What's wrong with you? The house is great. Stop looking at the fucking foundation. Stop looking at the fucking cracks. You gotta fucking point out and fix the goddamn cracks. You have to. Otherwise, the house is gonna come tumbling down. Or it's gonna move further and further to the right. People will have you believe that Donald Trump is the only goddamn president in history who's ever fucking tried to regime change a country. And oh my God, he's killed 70 people, bombing 21 boats that had nothing to do with narco trafficking. They were fishing boats. He's just trying to frighten the Venezuelan people into fucking getting rid of Maduro. That's what it is. It's thug fucking governance. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. Okay, I get that. But can you also understand that he's not the first thug president we've had in this goddamn country? For God's sake. He's not the first thug president we've had. Call him out, yeah. But don't forget to call out Biden. Don't forget to call out Obama. Don't forget to call out fucking JFK. He's not the first fucking thug. JFK tried to regime change fucking Cuba by killing Castro 900 times and put his brother in charge of it. But Scott Camelot, the house. And on the same note, people like myself and Jeffrey Sachs and fucking the Colonel McGregor and a number of others, few others, some of us on the left, harder to find because we're not the ones promoted by YouTube, but we're harder to find. Some of us are calling out and have been calling out the neo-Nazis in Ukraine and the use of the neo-Nazis specifically for the color revolution that got rid of the fucking elected president in Ukraine back then. But of course, we're called fucking conspiracy theorists and puppets of Putin or useful idiots because we say these things. Because that's not true, Scott. Ukraine is rife. It's riddled with fucking Nazis. Ukraine is, their plan through DIIA is digital currencies, digital currencies, one digital currency, everything on a chip. The chip is in your phone. Everyone's going to have a phone. And that's where you make all your transactions and you pay all your fucking bills and you communicate with and you vote through this thing. And Elon Musk wants to do the same thing with X. He wants to make X the everything app. And that gives them absolute control, and they know everything that you spend your fucking money on. Everything you spend your money on. Remember that, was it IMF guy or World Bank guy? That big, fat, bloated motherfucker. I know Aunt Bibi in the comment will say, oh, his name is so-and-so, so, because she remembers these things. I'm too old. I can't remember shit. But remember when he said he couldn't stand for he actually got mad talking to somebody because they were like, what do you guys care if somebody in Mexico spends 100 pesos on something? He got mad because he needs to know where they're spending his money, not the guy in Mexico's money, his money. They want to know everything. That's what DIIA is. Look it up in fucking Ukraine. And that's what fucking Elon Musk's Starlink system is helping them fucking develop in Ukraine. It is a purely neoliberal free market. No fucking regulations. Fuck the people. Do what you want to them. It is a experiment. Just like Chile was, 1973. And people on the left are like, hey, Zelensky, he's a hero. You have no idea what got us here. Either that or it's malpractice as a news person or a journalist or an influencer. It's probably not malpractice for an influencer, because an influencer is not a fucking journalist. Look at Jeffrey Sachs talking about Ukraine. He's and Douglas McGregor, was that his name, Colonel McGregor? Look up what people who really are well informed about it say about Ukraine, and they'll tell you. But to those people, we're conspiracy theorists because we know about the history of fucking Nazis in Ukraine from 2011, 2013, 2014, and onward. We know what they are. I'll briefly give you, I'm going to mention this again tonight at 7 p.m. I'll show you some stuff in a second here, but do you guys remember when the Ukraine thing was kicking off and people wanted, this was when Russia first said, no, you can't just kill these people in Donbass, these Russian-speaking people in Donbass. We're going to have to fucking get involved. And there were, I think this is still during Biden days, and there were a bunch of fucking, was it during Biden days? Yeah. And there were a bunch of fucking lefties out there who were saying, we got to go, we got to support fucking, and even RFK Jr.'s son, Hunter, what's his name? He went there and took some pictures on top of a tank, you know, stuff he can use later for his fucking political fucking career. Talking about crashing and burning. I mean, RFK Jr., Jesus Christ. But there were people who were going up there from the left who wanted to go and help fight against the evil Ruskies. In spite of history of people like myself and a few others saying, and some mainstream media saying, you got to be careful, lefties, because they don't really like people on the left in Ukraine anymore. In fact, they had, from 2014 to 2022, they had a long time to fucking hurt people on the left. And they did. And some of these lefties who were all hyped up to go there happened to be black or gay. And I mean openly gay, because it's 2022 and, you know, what 2021, what everybody's okay with being gay. I mean, it's not like the 50s in Alabama or some shit, right? And so they went over there. And I remember reporting on somebody who came back. And he was a black guy. And he wrote, and it was published in the Times, I think. I could be wrong. It might have been Wall Street Journal or Post. It was one of those. And he said, listen, if you're thinking about going over there and you're black, don't. Because if you're going to help with the fighting, and you're gonna, even if you're just in a supporting position helping these soldiers, you're not going to be fucking popular over there. And then he said a very interesting thing. And if you are gay, don't even think about it, because you're not going to be able to hide it. You're going to get drunk with these guys on vodka at some point in time. People disappeared. Americans going over there disappeared because they were the wrong color or the wrong political ideology or the wrong sexual preference. These are fucking Nazis. And to see the left cheering for them because Putin is unfucking real. I wish I could tell you that this was just Russian propaganda. But it isn't. Just like it isn't propaganda that fucking the Israelis are still killing Palestinians. Unarmed Palestinians. This was 5 days ago. Just like it isn't propaganda. Children are starving in Gaza because Israel wants their fucking land. That's not propaganda. What we're told is propaganda, but it's not propaganda. By the same fucking token, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is not propaganda. It is not propaganda that Nazis were front and center politically and militarily in the regime change project run by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John Kerry. The American left. We'll talk more about these images. That's Ole Tannenbach. This is his fucking Svoboda. That's his fucking slogan, his logo. That's a wolf angel ruin. It's a common symbol for neo-Nazi organizations. And I wish I could click on these. I got to figure out why I can't, because I can't make them any larger, which will be problematic. I'll have to fix that. Why won't they fucking? I don't know. But you can see, here's the Wolfbane. These are the Svoboda fucking flags. And this is during the color revolution. And we're not talking about, one or two instances. This is occupying City Hall. That's a white power symbol. There's an interesting quote here. Here, protesters clash with riot police. One carries a homemade shield painted with a white power symbol and the number 14 on the top and 88 on the bottom. These are Ukrainian police who were firebombed by these motherfuckers, who were shot by these motherfuckers, while carrying white power and Svoboda fucking symbols and wearing Wolfsbane symbols, Nazi symbols. And this is Ole Tannenbach, the leader of Svoboda. And here they are with 14. What does that mean? That's David Lane's slogan, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. That's 14 words. Count the words. That's the 14. And 88. What is 88? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Heil Hitler. These are fucking Nazis. And this is how they won the color revolution. Using fucking Nazis. That's not fucking Russian propaganda. I'm not a goddamn useful idiot for Putin. This is the fucking truth. But you are a conspiracy theorist if you remember any of this. And who was that? The Nazi hanging out, shaking hands with John McCain. This was being done during Barack Obama's days, headed up by, to start with, Hillary Clinton, Samantha Power, all of these motherfuckers on the left, but also John McCain on the right. Odd, isn't it, how they work together on certain projects. But then later, they all have to fucking demean and insult people like us who tell you the truth about what happened. King Obama's neoliberal color revolution in Ukraine is a raging, bloody success. We'll talk about all this evening and more. George Soros praises Ukrainian Renaissance. He's an apologist for neo-Nazi violence and brutal repression. We'll talk about all of this. Remember back when, Soros's family history was being discussed? That's why his family history was being discussed. But it's down the memory hole now. And people on the left, the main influences on the left, will tell you that's all fucking dirty Putin propaganda. That's not true. I'd like to see Kyle Kalinske take his fucking hairdo and his facial hair and go try to help out in the front lines. I don't think he would fare very well in Ukraine. I don't think the neo-Nazis would appreciate him very much. But of course, he would never do that. He'd never do that. So that's going to happen today at 7. And it'll be the first part of a 2-part thing talking about Ukraine. I showed you a thing, the image of the kids. I'll post a link to a UNICEF report that says that now there's 9,300 starving, malnourished kids in fucking Ukraine, which is slightly better than the 12,000 they had 2 months ago. So they've gone from 12,000 to 9,300 who are on the cusp of dying and fighting for food and going to bed at night hungry. And I guess we're all supposed to just say nothing about it anymore because that's a slight improvement. However, in February of this year, that number was like 300 people, children. So the using food as a weapon of war is only something that's been this year during the Trump days. The bringer of peace and joy and light to the world, Donald Trump. We will see. Anyway, that's today's video, and I hope you tune in 7 p.m. YouTube. I'll be live for about an hour. I splurged and got myself a frozen pizza for dinner from Freshetta. It's Canadian bacon and pineapple. That's right, pineapple on pizza. I must be a fucking conspiracy theorist to eat pineapple on pizza. Anyway, I thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you this evening at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.